Pitbull and Mark Anthony. Magic in the morning. Lots of sunshine. Clock says 8:38. Mike Barrett's in the studio. Time to talk good policies with Barrett Insurance. Good morning, Mike.
Brr, good morning.
Oh, very burr. And it's going to be even cold again this weekend. Let's not talk about it. Had enough of it. There are things in life you can't change. It's that serenity prayer thing.
Yeah.
So something we haven't talked about here, Mike, lately in a fair amount of time, and we've been talking about everything from glass and deductibles and such like that. We haven't talked about renter's insurance. Let's talk about that.
I love it. Renter's insurance is actually something, there's a couple of insurance policies that are readily available, very well priced, and very underutilized. And I would certainly put renter's insurance in that category. And we know for sure if you don't own where you are living, that you should have a renter's insurance policy. You don't have to. It's not law. It's not required. Some landlords like to see that, but it's not required by law. So it's very underutilized because of that, right? There's no forcing to do that. But why is a renter's insurance policy so incredibly important? Well, if you don't own where you live, so you are a tenant occupying a dwelling and you're paying rent, you do not have coverage for your personal belongings within the confines of your apartment or single-family dwelling, if that's what you're renting. You need that. If a fire or some kind of a loss occurs and you have no policy, the landlord policy is not going to cover you. That's only covering the landlord for their interest in the property and their liability exposure of owning the property. So a renter's insurance policy would cover you for your contents. It would also help provide some loss of use coverage. If there was a loss and you had to temporarily live somewhere else, there would be some limit of coverage for that. Also, and this is a very unthought of part of the policy, is liability. We all have personal liability. Right now I have a personal liability of everywhere I go. Now, we're not talking about auto insurance liability where if you hit somebody and damage something that your liability is going to help. That's auto policy. There are so many scenarios of liability for you just as an individual. Personal injury, libel, slander, wrongful detention, eviction, bodily injury, property damage to others. I could give you 1,001 examples. I will not do that to you this morning because it's already cold and miserable out there. Let's not make it worse. But I will tell you that in and of itself is an incredibly good reason to have renter's insurance.
All right, I don't want to come in from way out in left field here, but here's a question that I know I have never asked you when we have talked about renter's insurance. We know a homeowner, a property owner, if they have adequate insurance, in the event of a power outage, an extended period of time of power outage, and you lose groceries and such like that. Does this extend into
Absolutely. So really, if you were to throw up a regular homeowner policy and a renter's policy kind of side by side, there's always coverage A, which is dwelling on a regular homeowner policy. You just don't see that on a renter's because you don't own a dwelling. Coverage B is other structures. You don't see that either. So it picks up at the next one, which is coverage C, personal property. So it is a homeowner form. It's custom for a renter's policy so that you're not covering structures, but it can even cover improvements. If you lived in your place and you've made improvements, it can help you with that. And in terms of cost, it's so incredibly affordable. Many people undervalue what they have. Now, remember, this, if done right, will be a replacement cost policy. So we're not buying you a 6-foot used couch from Montclair. We're going to the furniture store and getting you a 6-foot couch if it's lost in a covered loss. $10, $20, $30, $40, $50 a month, depending on your needs, because you pick the limit of coverage. You really can't go wrong with the price point, and it can really give you a nice little credit on your auto insurance policy. And I also want to throw out there that all so often we think about renter's insurance being associated with I am paying rent. Let's take that out of it. Yes, that's definitely true. But let's take that out for a moment. Let's say you're just living with a friend. Your friend owns the house. You don't own the house. You're living with a friend or a companion, not related. You're a non-relative residing in a home. You're not going to be afforded the coverage under your friend's homeowner policy for your personal belongings and liability. So even in situations like that, it really is the prudent thing to do to have a renter's insurance policy. I can give you 1,001 reasons why it makes sense. The cost in itself should be enough of a reason to do it. But I'll tell you, I even have longtime relationship folks who are, have multiple children, but they're not legally married, maybe only one of them is on a deed. The one who's not on the deed should have a renter's insurance policy, or depending on the company, some companies have what we call additional household member endorsements, which essentially are giving you the coverages that a renter's policy would have. Not every company offers that, but it's worth checking to see if it's available with yours, if that's your situation.
Well, you mentioned this phrase, there's 1,001 examples. So if somebody has one of those 1,001 questions, how can they get in touch?
Sure. Give us a call, 748-5224. Find our office on Portland Street in St. Johnsbury, online, thebarrettagency.com. Look for us on Google, Facebook, and YouTube, and Instagram. Did I say it all? Just look for Barrett Insurance Agency. I was multitasking very poorly, Jeff. I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay, because I got you covered on the first half of it here. We saw notification from the Linden Institute Athletics that coming up this Saturday, they are going to have a fundraising athletic day.
Yeah.
All to benefit Northeast Kingdom Cancer Action Network.
That's incredible. We got the voicemail from the athletic director, James Bourne, yesterday. I'm going to be reaching out. We've been emailing. Very excited about that. So it's a Cancer Games Day at Linden Institute. The game schedule is a full slate with the JV boys at noon, varsity boys at 1:30, varsity girls at 3. It's this Saturday. They'll have halftime games, food, community spirit, all proceeds going to NEKCAN, which is awesome.
Now, that's coming up, but going on currently, we've seen that locally Social Gives has partnered, and so have their patrons, with a fundraiser going on there, too. And they're having all kinds of fun with it.
They are. Ian and Carrie Carlette, the owners of Locally Social Coffee, awesome individuals. I've been longtime friends with them, and they have been doing... So Jillian Hegarty had passed away. She was a very sweet girl. I was devastated. We all were when she was tragically killed away at college, hit by a vehicle. And since her passing, her mom, Buffy, would pay for everyone's coconut mocha all week long, or at least on her birthday, which is coming up, I think it's February 4th, so that'd be tomorrow. And so Buffy sadly passed away from cancer later last year, in the middle of last year. Another devastating loss to the community, another great individual. And so Ian and Carrie at Locally Social decided to, in loving memory of both Jillian and Buffy, if you purchase a coconut mocha, ice or hot, and believe me, I've seen them going out with both, all the profits will go to NEKCAN, plus they're taking donations for us this week.
Well, and I saw in one single day they took in over $500, so that's fabulous.
Yeah,
all
and
right.
some of that was mine, because Ethan and I went down and grabbed some coconut mochas. So,
all right, you guys stay bundled up through the week, and we'll see you next Tuesday for more good policies.
Absolutely. Real quickly, Jeff, 80s Dance this week. Go to the website, nekcan.org, and check it out. We still have tickets for sale for the event on Saturday at the VFW in Lindenville.
All right, now we're at 8:46 on our way to Hometown Minute with Magic in the Morning and a 7 below zero.